Yeah, I'm right back at you like I never left, and I'm gonna go this hard to my last breath. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Canoon, Consul Moon. You already know what you're gonna get when you step in the room. Now I'm dealing with Canoon. I'm here. And while I'm here, I'm gonna make the information direct and clear because a lot of y'all can't hear. Now, welcome back to Make My Ancestors Great Again. Today, we're gonna go back to my thoughts, but this week, I'm going to find certain people that's supposed to be founded in the Bible, some of the Bible superstars. I want to try to find them, okay? Because only thing people is fortunate enough, or I would say unfortunate, but the only thing they're able to do is give you biblical scriptures, biblical references. And when you say, where are they outside the Bible? They say this historian, Tacitus, another historian named Flavius Josephus. It was two Josephus. A guy named Ptolemy. All these type of people, not the real Ptolemy, biblical created character Ptolemy. Caiaphas. All these ancient names who wasn't Christians. This is how the story goes now. Who wrote about these people that foundates them in history. And then every now and then they find a stele. It's really called a stellar. They got them from Egypt. Uh, it's like a plaque, and you put information on it. So they find a lot of steles. They find a lot of um, stones, things of that nature. The Moabite stone. All these things are, I would just say, fishy at best. They're non-historical. They're European created plaques to foundate a story. The characters in the Bible are false and fictitious. Okay, they're created characters with a story attached to them, and we want to find that a couple of these people this week. So today is called Finding David. This is my thoughts 59. Finding David, and the David I'm talking about is King David. They found stones that say House of David, David, and they think that this means that he's historical. Excuse me. Number one, the man has never been given an actual birth date. When you look up things about him, you'll see it's very fishy. He doesn't have a birthday. He's never had a death date. Okay, so everything is of biblical nature, and I'm gonna prove that today. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and I thank you for watching. I'm going to share my screen, but I'm going to be reading with you from my phone because somehow through the translation of me screen sharing my phone to the computer, it gets a little scrambly on my side. And if it does for you, I'll call out the sources that I got the information from anyhow. So let's get through it. I want to try to do it kind of quickly. Okay, so let me see. This is it right here. The first thing, this is Finding David. Remember this. And this is not to take God away from anybody. Let me put this down so everybody can see me. This is not to take God, Jesus the Christ, or the Bible from anybody. This is to give you another link in your chain because you want to build a chain. This is to give you another link of of research material that you can go out and find on your own. Now, if you find that the information that I'm giving you is misleading you or something, stay away from it. This is not for people who want to continuously be founded and they believe everything the Bible say, because the Bible is historically worthless, in my opinion. Okay. So if you want to research and try to find some of these things on your own and unravel some of this nonsense, you can go on this trip with me. But if not, don't watch this particular video. This is to give people back their spirituality. This is not to take religion from you, but it's to give you back your spirituality. Religion has taken that from anybody who's got into religion. So if you want to restore your spirituality and not be held to customs, religious ceremonies, and all that type of stuff inside of the Bible, you can be free as a bird when you start exercising your spirituality instead of putting it into these religions. So I'm not taking God from anybody. I'm just showing you things to think about. Now, right there, that's the first page. Well, it's a video, but I'm going to pause it so I can read it with you guys. This is from Google. Okay. It says right here, Bathsheba. See, because David had a very special son named Solomon by a little girl named Bathsheba. Bathsheba, the story goes like this. David was out there just chilling. He had a big mansion and all this. This is how the story goes now. None of this stuff has never been founded. They find some little shacks and walls and try to say this, make a sketch and say this is where David lived. They said the empire was very small, but when you see the documentaries, they make them vast and very large. Okay. So that's misleading and that's a lie anyway. David was on his roof. He seen a girl during her purifying stage. She had just come off her menstrual and she was taking a bath. That girl was Bathsheba. Her husband name was Uriah, a Hittite who worked for David. David sent for the girl. Okay. Now, you know the story about David and Bathsheba, but what they don't tell you is how old Bathsheba was. What you're looking at is the age of Bathsheba. Okay. It says Bathsheba, the granddaughter of David's counselor. I don't know that name. Um, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. The Bible has horrible type of names, and that's name is not historical anyway. Um, but he was a famous counselor of David, and his granddaughter was Bathsheba. Okay, so it says his famous counselor, Bathsheba, the granddaughter of Ahith- Ahithophel. Okay, David's famous counselor was only 8 years and 8 months old when her son Solomon was born. So right here, if you type it in Google, it says she was only 8 years old and 8 months. Okay, 8 years, 8 months old when King Solomon was born. That was their second child. That was their second attempt on having a child. Okay, now um, of when her son Solomon was born. While some material while some maintain that she was not older than 6, see, so this is saying she was 8 years old, and some say she was 6. So that's one piece of evidence. Here go the second one. That's what's on your screen now. It's before you. Let me go to that in my phone. And this is from discoverthetruth.com. And it states this: based on this seemingly contradictory information, let us follow the conservative route, because it's some information before that, and it's saying that that information is contradicting. So they're going to do it in a conservative manner, and they're going to use the Bible to do so, and assume that Solomon was around 20 years old at his ascension. So they're saying he was about 20 when he became the king, and he reigned for 50 years. Okay, he was 70 years old. I'm sorry. Let's just say he assumed, I'm sorry. And they saying assuming all this because it's not historical. If he was a real man, you would know his birthday, okay? So they say, let's take a conservative route, as always, and assume that Solomon was around 20 years old at the time of his ascension. Since David died when he was 70 years old, it means he was 50 years old when Bathsheba, 9 to 11 years old, gave birth to Solomon. Thus, it also means that he was 44 to 48 years old when he first laid his eyes on her or encountered Bathsheba, who was 7 to 9 years old. The table below shows a summary of information calculations of ages of David. Okay. It has that name again, Ahithophel, Solomon, and Bathsheba, based on the chronology of 2 Samuel 11 through 17. Okay. So all this is based on the Bible. All right. They put the ages in from the time of his reign, the time of his death, the time of Solomon's birth, and they start deducting the ages. And this led them to believe she was 9 to 11 years old and 7, anywhere from 9 to 11. And the first time he seen her, she was 7 to 9 years old. So this man is named the man that's after God's own heart. David. He's same David from David and Goliath, the little boy who beat up Goliath because God was on his side. These are lies, are Bible stories. Better yet, it's called patristic writing. Excuse me. Let me get a sip. This is patristic handwriting. Okay. It's false and fictitious pseudepigrapher created literature to put forth something that's supposed to be truth from a biblical standpoint. Okay, and that's all it is. Now let's go past that. So this man was a sexual rapist, a sexual pedophile. He got Uriah murdered because he got her pregnant. He committed adultery with her. He had her sent when he first seen the little baby in the bathtub. He said, go get her. I want to have sex with her. Had sex with her right away. She got pregnant. So he sent for her husband that was in the war, said, hey, tell him to make love to his wife. He didn't do it. So David, this rapist, sexual pedophile, according to the Bible, okay, he sent Uriah to the front line of the army and had him murdered. This is how the story goes now, but this man is after God's own heart. Okay. Now let's go on down because I have a couple of things else I want to do. Okay. There's a couple of questions in here. I'm just letting you see the phone so I can be right there with you. Okay, this is the Britannica. And as you see right there, it says David. I'm going to pause it so I can get there on my side. Okay. This is the Britannica.com. Says it right there. Top questions. David, King of Israel. It's a history and society. Okay, even though nothing about it is historical, they're saying because the Bible is said to be an old book that you can deem as historical, and any believer would believe to do so. Okay, now the top question there says, where did David grow up? So I'm going to answer that for you. According to the Bible, listen now, if this was history, you don't have to say according to the Bible. But since these are biblical characters, there's nothing else you can say according to. You can't say according to his death findings, according to his remains, his human remain finds. We found his body. We found right at the temple that he said to have start building, and his son Solomon built. At Solomon's temple, King David had a tomb, and we found his human remains, and it says he's this age. That's not what this says. It says, according to the Bible, David grew up in the rugged Judean hills around the Israelite town of Bethlehem, a few miles south of what was then the Canaanite stronghold of Jerusalem. At the time, Israel was threatened by other people in the region, especially the Philistines, who occupied the Mediterranean coastal plain to the west. Okay, that's question one. Where did David grow up? Okay, so let me go on. And I'm showing you right there. It says, according to the Bible, that was the first question. Okay, now let me go to the second one. Right here. What was David's early life like? That's what you're seeing right there. It's scrambling to me. I hope it's not scrambling to you, but that's what we're asking. These are the questions we're asking. What was David early life like? And you can go to Britannica to get this. David was the youngest of 8 sons of Jesse, a sheep breeder of the Israelite tribe of Judah. David likely spent much of his boyhood tending his family's flock. One day he was summoned from the fields by the prophet Samuel, who anointed him king of Israel while Saul was still king. Now it says here he was a tender of goats, a tender of his family's flock, which was sheep. He was a Bedouin. He was a goat herder. He was a nomad. All of these type of things. Okay. So show me where it said he went to school at. Show me where it said his birthday. Are you understanding this? According to the Bible. And then as he doing so good, tilling the land and feeding the flocks and being a good goat herder, that some man Samuel said, "Go get me David. He been so good with them sheep. He should be our next king." He's uneducated. He's illiterate. They never told us anything about him reading books because we just did the first one. Where did he grow up? It don't say where he went to school at. They trick you and say he has some counselor and he supposed to taught him something. That's mumbo jumbo. None of this is historical, but I'm walking you through what the Bible says and outside of the Bible, what history says about this man. These are non-historical people. Okay. What's the third one? What did David do for a living? So let me let you see that, and then I'm going to answer it on my side. Okay. This is all I'm talking about. Everything you run into is according to the Bible. Okay. None of this stuff is historical. Not one bit of it. I tried to look for David and give him some historical references. I can't find any. So the next question says here. Oh, I think is it here? What did David do for a living? Let me see. I think I passed it. I'm sorry. I'm going back to it right now. So, what did David do for a living? As a youth, David distinguished himself as a musician and a warrior. They just said he spent all his time in the fields. His whole boyhood was spent in the field. Now he's a warrior and a musician. Okay? See how they hook your mind up now? Okay. This gained him the attention of King Saul, whom he played the harp. He played the harp for King Saul. Okay. This is how the story goes now. And fought the Philistines. David's popularity aroused the king's jealousy. After Saul tried to kill him, David fled and became the leader of the outlaws. When Saul died, David became king. All I hear is fighting. All I hear is killing. If he was so educated and a musician and the poetry, where did he do all that poetry at? Where did he find so much time to be this master musician at of the heart? That takes time to do. Okay. So that's what did he do for a living? If you ask me, he was nothing but a murderer, an adulteress, a rapist, and a sexual pedophile. But I mean, you have your opinions too. I'm using a Britannica. This is all stuff they gathered from the Bible. None of this can be deemed historical, and it never will be. The last one says, what did David achieve? Okay. As Israel's second king, David built a small empire. Says small. He conquered Jerusalem, which he made Israel's political and religious center. He defeated the Philistines so thoroughly that they never seriously threatened the Israelite security again. That's how much ass he whooped. Okay. And he annexed the coast. They didn't even have these terms, but I understand. Coastal region. He went on to become the overlord of many small kingdoms bordering Israel. So he was an overlord in battle. This is how the story goes now. So I went down at the bottom here. It got some information. Let me see. I'm just pulling it up. And then tomorrow I'm going to do this a lot quicker. So at the bottom right here, it's just a small little bit of information. It's going to go up on my screen. It should, right there where that cup is. I'm going to pull it up right there. So right before that pane glass window at the bottom, you're looking to the right on the video. It says this: David flourished around 1000 BC. It don't say his birthday. Okay, don't say his death date. And they put this together by guesstimation because this is not historical. As the second ruler of the United Kingdom of ancient Israel and Judah, he founded the Judean dynasty and united all the tribes of Israel under a single monarch. His son Solomon expanded the empire that David built. David is an important figure in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Nothing else. See? So this is a Bible character, and all Bible characters have to play the background of all those things that I just mentioned. He's a biblical character, and I'm going to read the last little bit. And he's very important in Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, okay? Because that's all Bible characters are good for. Other written religious literature. Now, as you go down right here, no, it's just a little further down. Right there. I'm going to tell you what that says, okay? The primary evidence for David's career consists of several chapters in the book 1 and 2 Samuel, the Hebrew Bible, Old Testament. Many of the Psalms are also attributed to him. Okay. His legendary skill as a poet, a harpist, and a hymnist. Okay. All this stuff is just lies to try to make it seem like something. Material evidence for his reign, while a matter of intense debate among scholars, is scant. That means very small, and it pretty much is non-existent. Some scholars claim to have some scholars claim to have discovered artifacts that corroborate the biblical account of David's kingdom. Others assert, here we go on, it says right here, others assert that the archaeological record strongly suggests that David was not the grand ruler of a rising kingdom, but merely a gifted tribal leader of a pastoral rather than urban society. A fragment from a stone stela mentioning the house of David references his political dynasty. See what I'm saying? So all the material outside of the Bible is scant. See, scholars still debating. But to be frank, because I like to be frank, it's non-existent. The historical David never existed. They etch little stelas and stones and knock them over and find them in the night and say, wow, look what we found. And they want you to deem it historical. And with a person's mind and his belief system, he will think that he has found some historical references to this David. David is a biblical character, number one on this list. And we're going to do some more. I'm going to be much quicker when I do this. I'm just trying to show you references, research points that you can go back and find. And you can ignore all of this as you've been doing and continue to believe the Bible, okay? David is a created character, never existed in human history. So if you take David away, you can never get to Jesus, okay? Because Jesus' bloodline goes to the house of David for some strange reason, even though Joseph isn't his father. So they wrap your mind up and they take you on a ride and they steal your spirituality and you allow it. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Kanum Kansu Moon. You already know what you're going to get when you step in the room. You're down there with Kanum. This is what I do. And I love to do it. And before I take back what I said, I asked them up to it. This was my thoughts 59 on finding David. We did not find him historically. There's nothing on here that can make me change my mind that he's a historical figure. Finding archaeological finds with his name sketched in a stone does not substantiate life. Nothing he did outside the Bible can be foundated and I mean nothing. Thank you for watching.